All right, coming to you live from week 11. This is your week 10 roundup. Now, as we reach the final 3 weeks of the season, we are going to shift our focus more from the weekly scores and what happened in those games and more towards how those games are affecting the playoff picture. We'll always start with a quick look at these scores, so let's just start now. The closest matchup of the week was between the two teams that tied early in the season. These two clubs have a major rivalry brewing. It's always a bloodbath in the sense that neither one of the teams scores very many points at all. Chase got revenge though this week, and he beat Sharp 123 to 108. This hurt Sharp's playoff hopes a lot, took it out of his own control because all the teams around him won, but Bird's win kind of keeps him alive, and it all happened because of a 21-point game from Demaryius Thomas. Zach picked up his 7th win of the season, and he beat the shit out of Barron 139 to 93. Zach has somehow snuck into the top of his division and is now within one game of taking the overall #1 seed in these playoffs. It's kind of a surprise. Nobody's really talking about Zach coming into this season. Nobody's really talking about his draft or anything like that, but here he is, making noise. 41 points from Marshawn Lynch really sealed the win for him, and I do think there are some concerns on his team as 5 players scored 12 or fewer points, but when the luck is with you, the luck is with you. Meanwhile, Barron is on the total other end of the spectrum. He had 5 players in single digits. It's a bad season for the Bear. Sheck kept pace with the top of the league by beating the surging Bradley Gregg 147 to 92. Brad had been unstoppable the last few weeks, but Brad did have some major bye week issues, and Sheck leaned on some really powerhouse performances as Aaron Rodgers, Brandon Marshall, and Jimmy Graham all combined for 93 of his 147 points. Tom's all-in approach with the Philadelphia Eagles looks to be paying off, while an absolute horror show for the Chicago Bears helped push Tom to 170 to 133 victory over moi. Jordy Nelson, Mark Sanchez, and the Eagles defense combined for 81 points, and it was an impressive win. No excuses here. Tom gets a big, important W that helps him in this playoff race. And finally, Jordan got back into things, winning the weekly beer, which I forgot to grab. Of all the people, he's probably the one that most wants a beer because he's a little college punk, and he's probably drunk right now, so whatever. Thursday Night Football, St. Rose College, I get it. But congratulations, Porge, winning the Captain Jack's weekly beer with a 186-point game over Justin Ball. Justin left a bye week quarterback in his starting lineup, which hurt his points total. Still eclipsed 100 at 103, but it would have hardly mattered as only one of Jordan's players scored in single digits, and he was only 14 points away from becoming the second Greg to break the 200-point barrier. Fun fact, if Jordan had played Brandon Cooks instead of Doug Baldwin, he still wouldn't have broke 200, but he would have been only 1 point shy at 199 points. Now, for the playoffs, did some analysis. The magic number that everybody wants to hit is 8 wins. If you hit 8 wins, you're locked in the playoffs. Nobody can take it away from you. As of right now, Sharp is the 7th best team in the league. This is how I figured out they need 8 wins. If he wins out the rest of his games, he will finish the season at 7-5-1. Meanwhile, Sheckton is the 6th best team, the last playoff spot. And if he wins the last 3 games, he will finish the season 8-5. Meaning that no matter what anybody else does, as long as you don't drop beneath the 8-game barrier, you are in. So nobody but the top 6 teams, the playoff teams, are capable of even hitting the 8-game mark. So here we are. Therefore, the playoff picture looks like this for each and every team. Me, I am locked in. I have my 8 wins, and if I win 2 more, I'm guaranteed a bye as a top 2 seed. I could probably skate with 1, but then you're looking for some help. Zach, you win 1 more game, you're in the playoffs. Brad, Tom, and Jordan, the brothers Greg, each of you wins 2 more games, and you're in the playoffs. And Sheckton, you need to win out. You're the last team that controls your own destiny. Those are the 6 teams that are really in the driving seat. Sharp's loss paired with Sheck's win took things out of Richie's hands, and so Sharp has a bit of a more difficult path to the playoffs. There's a couple scenarios that'll work for you, though. Sharp, you need to win out, and you need Sheckton to lose 1 or more games. If that happens, you're in. If you win out and Sheck loses, if you win 1 game, and Sheck loses all 3 of his games, you're also in. And if you win out and one of Zach, Brad, Tom, or Jordan loses out, you're also in. Need a lot of help, but it's not a bleak situation. Meanwhile, Bird, if you win out and Sharp loses one or more, Sheck loses two, and you outscore Sheck by 34 points a game, you're in. Or if you win out and Sheck loses two or more, and one of Tom, Jordan, or Brad loses out, you're also in. So you have a little bit of a tougher job. You have to chase the tiebreaker as well, and need a lot of people ahead of you to lose a lot of games. Now, the last two, Baron and J-Ball, you are still technically alive, but for all intents and purposes, you are basically eliminated from the playoffs because you need an ungodly amount of help. So I'll break it down for you. Baron, you have a slightly better position than J-Ball. If you win out, and then Sharp, Sheck, and Brad, and Chase, sorry, if Sharp, Sheck, and Chase all lose out, and you outscore Sheck by 99 points per game over the next 3 weeks, you're in. So that's what I mean. You're basically out. If there's no way you're going to outscore Sheckton by 99 points a game. Sorry. And J-Ball, you need to win out. You need Sharp, Sheck, and Chase to all lose out, and you need to outscore Sheck by 106 points per game. So that's even tougher. So both of those teams, while technically still alive, really you can cut them. They're done. So it's basically a race between Sharp, Chase, Sheckton, the brothers Greg, and Zach. Okay. Now, a fun fact, though, Baron and J-Ball do play each other, which helps their chances, because otherwise they would have had to hope that one of those, like if I was Baron, I'd be hoping that J-Ball lost a game. But since you play each other, you can make that happen yourself. But that probably won't really help either one of them in the playoffs. It'll probably just decide who goes home with the Stephon Lawrence Medal of Shame this season. Only 3 weeks left. The trade deadline is passed, so we don't have to have a million texts about trades that weren't ever going to happen. And now we're at the business end of the schedule. 3 weeks of the regular season, 3 weeks of playoffs. Doesn't get any better than this, guys. So let's do it. BDB!